and was like, you're an idiot, and they had like this massive row, and she just didn't unlock the door, and nor did I. And then we just saw him, he just stayed there though, he just sat on the wall outside, put his hood up and just like went to sleep. And it was just so embarrassing, like the whole neighbours could just see him sat there sleeping. And when I think about it now, I think that's stupid, we should just let him in. But it was just everything that kept adding up. It was like too much, way too much. Like our house was just so calm and peaceful before, and then he came in and just brought danger onto our footstep, basically, onto our doorstep. And he stole my mum's camera, he stole my old phone, which had like loads of old photos on it that I never got to like take off. I know it's an old phone, but you know, it's my mum's camera, like a new camera we bought her. All this stuff, like loads of little things just went missing when he was staying with us, but we didn't notice until afterwards, and we just knew it was him. It's like, that's your own family, how can you steal from your own family? And my dad told him, as soon as he, like, before he even moved in, he said, there's two things that I cannot, like, I will not stand for, basically. And it was stealing from your own family, and like, you know, like being violent towards your family. And obviously, he was never violent to us, but didn't care about stealing. And you know what he was stealing for as well was just he doesn't keep the stuff, he just sells it so he can buy drugs. Or I mean, the only time I actually saw him doing drugs was at a party. I went, basically, they've got, like, my sister and brother from America, they have a half sister as well, not related to me or my sisters though. And she came over and had a party, and I thought, yeah, okay, I'll go to it, this will be different. It's with my dad's ex, who I don't like at all, and no one really does. But I thought, okay, I'll do it because my little sister wants to go, and you know, I should try and be in with that side of the family now since they're here. So I did it, and it was quite good until I went out the back and saw my little sister smoking, and my brother doing weed, basically. And I was just like, I don't know, I was more angry with Tanya because she was the innocent one I'd grown up with. She, like, me and her, like, so close, and how was she kept a secret from me that she smokes? She kept it so long, like literally for years, since she was like 13 and we were like 18 then. Well, I was 18 and she was like 17, and she kept it secret that whole time. And it just made me and it turned out that Diane, who, you know, my dad's ex, she knew, and she started laughing. She's like, haha, didn't you know? And it just made me so angry. It was like, oh, so this, you know, people that haven't been in our lives this long just decided to come back over, and Tanya would just tell them like everything. Like, she's so much closer with Sarah sometimes than me, I think, and she was with Mike, like really close with Mike, and they weren't even around. Like, that was their choice. They weren't here, and she just decided to like tell them, like confide in them and not me. And it's like, I'm yours. Like, I know that, well, I don't know. It just makes me so angry that she can. It's because they smoke as well, and she knows that I would judge her and I would tell her off. But they're so laid back and everything because they all smoke, and so she felt like she could be herself more with them, which I can understand because I don't like seeing her smoke even now, and it's been years. But it's just I guess I'm jealous in a way that she can have that connection with them when I can't have that connection with them. Like, I've tried, but yeah, I've tried getting on with Sarah, but it's been hard. Like, we do get on and everything, but it's just, I guess I don't feel like I'm her sister sometimes. Like, that sounds so bad, but The only time we felt really close was when we went on holiday, just me, Tanya and Sarah. And I really felt like that really helped me get to know her, because I don't feel like I don't really know her still, even though she's my sister, and because that whole massive gap of my life that she wasn't in. But I'm hoping I will get there. It's just hard because we don't live together anymore and I hardly see her. It is hard. But no, I will be okay. But Mike, I don't want anything to do with him anymore. Like, he came here and then he went into prison not long after, like, we kicked him out and stuff and said we don't, you can't stay here. So when his mum came, he stayed with her and everything, but he ended up getting in trouble. He was posting things on Facebook like, anyone want a bike, and you could just tell he'd robbed all this stuff and he was trying to sell it on Facebook, and it was just so obvious. And then one night he put a photo up of him in the car and he was like, lush BMW or something. Basically you could tell he just robbed a car and was just joyriding in it, and he just put on Facebook for everyone to see. I was like, I can't believe you're my brother, like how, it was just disgusting. And so he ended up back in prison, obviously, and he was in there for I don't even know, it seemed like a year or something, and then he got a girl pregnant, and as she was pregnant, he went back into prison. Like, he knew that she was pregnant, and he was with her, and then he got sent into prison. I was like, are you retarded? Like, oh. And then so she had this baby, and he's a lovely little baby, but it turns out she's like massive into drugs and stuff, and she already has a kid that's been taken off of her. And it's just like, how did you choose her of all the people? I don't know. So then he can't even, neither of them, obviously she's had social services won't let her have a kid, and he's in prison. So this kid, my dad's ex, takes on, like, she has to look after him. She's almost 60 or something, really old, just doesn't, she can't chase after him. Like, there's no way she can look after him. But she is. He's like 3 now or something. And he's so lovely. But I don't even know him, which is really annoying. Like, I've only seen him like probably 5 times. And he's like 3 now. And it's not even like he was in a different country this time. But it's just because it's so hard like to see him, because he's with her. My dad doesn't like seeing his ex, obviously, and mum won't let her in the house, and dad doesn't even want anything to do with, because it's Mike's kid as well. It's like dad doesn't want to be too involved, because then he thinks Mike will come back getting involved as well. And I'm like, Dad, it's not fair though on the kid. Why should he miss out on having an auntie and a granddad and all that stuff just because his dad's dick, basically? Like, why should he miss out on that? It's not fair. So I'm trying my best to see him when I can, and my little sister, she takes him out on her own and stuff, and I think that's great. But I'm never in Newbury to do that, so it's a bit harder for me. But I went to his first birthday, and it was all like his own dad wasn't even there, obviously, because he was in prison, and but he ran from prison, and he asked who's there. And he said, and Diane said, oh yeah, Kayla and Tanya. And he was like, oh, tell them I'm sorry and that I will sort myself out. Which is what he used to always say when he was in America. And, but he hasn't, he is out of prison and stuff, but guess what? He's got another kid and he can't look after that one either. It's with the same girl as well, who he said he wasn't even going to stay with anymore because she was trouble. No, they've got another kid, and it's a girl this time, and I'm not even allowed to see it because social services basically are looking after it, and they are allowed to be with it, but they're under constant watch. They're living in this hospital thing where they can be constantly observed by social services, But it's just disgusting. There's all those people out there that can't have kids, and there's my brother having 2 and they're not even allowed to look after it properly. Like they can't look after it, and it just makes me mad. And that I'm even related to him. And like Laura's technically not related to him, so she's fine. Like I don't know, she's a bit of a brick wall really. Like she acts like she's disowned him so much more easily than any of us, which she probably did find it easier. But then at the same time I think, does she? Because she was older when she grew up with them. She was closer to she's closer to their age than mine and Tanya, so she grew up with them more and she probably has more memories with them. But yeah, she shut Mike off like that. Like as soon as he come back, she didn't seem interested in. And I kind of wish I'd been like that. Like I was to a certain extent. Like me and my dad have always been quite standoffish, and like I take a lot of time to trust people anyway. And a lot of people just think that I'm just like rude or don't like them straight away. But it's just because I want to figure people out and like, you know, to see if I can trust them. I don't like just jumping straight in and being like best friends or whatever. Like Tanya does basically, because she was just like so close straight away, and I was like really cautious, and for a good reason. I mean, I'm glad I was. But Tanya kept going back there, even though he'd messed us all around. And she kept going to see him and stuff, and even after he stole from us, she was like, "Yeah, but he's our brother."